Welcome to the Solid Verbal. The Solid Verbal.
Come after me! I'm a man! I'm 40!
I've heard so many players say, well, I want to be happy. You want to be happy for a day? Eat a steak.
It's that woo-woo!
And now, Dan and Ty.
Welcome back to the Solid Verbal, boys and girls. My name is Ty Hildenbrandt. Joining me, as always, over there in New York City, my man, Dan Rubenstein. Sir, how are you?
Ty, I just have a request.
Oh,
you ready?
Yes, please.
I'm bouncing. Will you please remember me?
Remember
No,
you.
I have to say goodbye, Ty. Remember me. Don't let it make you cry. For even if I'm far away, I hold you, Ty Hildenbrandt, in my heart. I sing a secret song to you each night we are apart. Remember me, Ty.
I have no idea what this song is.
You haven't seen Coco?
I haven't seen Coco.
Oh
No.
my gosh, Ty. You need to watch Coco. At some point, you need to watch Coco.
Listen, dog, there's a lot going on in my life right now, and I don't need another sad movie. You told me that this was a really sad movie, wasn't it?
Okay, give it some time. Give Coco some time. Maybe watch it solo. Watch it solo.
Okay.
All right, Ty, I want to say something extremely serious.
Please. By the way, your instrument sounds so much better today. Whatever you're doing is working wonderfully.
Recuérdame.
Yeah.
This is my favorite week of the college football season. I mentioned it.
Mine too.
I mentioned it in the week 9 recap. In a little tease, week 10 is my forever week.
Mhm.
And it just so happens that there happens to be a lot of interesting, fun, meaningful games this weekend. But even if it were just Michigan, Penn State, even if it were just LSU, Alabama, even if it were just Texas Tech, Oklahoma, it would still be my, and it sounds like your, favorite week of the season.
I think that's right. This checks out. Yeah.
I compared it last year, I think it was last year, to that golden moment in a relationship when you realize somebody is great for you and that you're in the middle of something really worthwhile before it gets complicated by all sorts of, whether it's family and kids and
that's right.
moving and mortgages and taxes, where you're in it and you have hope for the future and you are celebrating the present of just like, damn, life is awesome. We're in week 10 of the college football season. I don't care what happens in the beginning of January with the playoff. I don't care about the selection show and people getting upset about how their conference is or is not being treated. I just am in that wonder zone, Ty. And here we are together.
Here we are together, and happy Halloween to all of you listening. Some of you, I'm sure, on Halloween, depending on when we post all this nonsense. Don't forget, you can always give us a call at 408-VERBAL-1. That's 408-837-2251. As you are watching the games on Saturday, can be very stream of consciousness. If you want, just let us know how you're feeling in the moment. Lord knows we'd love to hear from you, and we're going to cut those up and put them together for our Reverb segment, which our boy Taylor does so dutifully every Sunday morning. You can also tweet us at Solid Verbal. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/solidverbal. Look up our Instagram at instagram.com/solidverbal. By now, you get the drill. Mm-hmm. Also, feel free to check out our website at solidverbal.com. And if you haven't already, as Dan said, it's a fun week of college football. It's really a celebration of the game. So please, if you haven't already, go to solidverbal.com/pick'em. That's /pick'em, P-I-C-K-E-M, all one word. Get your free Pick'em pool in now. It's 10 games. It's free. It's easy. It works on a phone. Mm-hmm. Get your picks in. Very curious to see how all y'all do this week, because Daniel, we got a loaded slate here that we need to get through. But before we get there at all, before we get anywhere close to it, we have breaking news.
Did you just have like a 5-hour energy?
I'm feeling it, man.
You got a lot of juice.
Can I be honest with you?
Please.
I had 2 cups of black Tazo tea. Tazo, not a sponsor.
Right.
Of the Verbal. I went with the Awake tea at both 1:30 this afternoon and when did I talk to you? Around 3:30 this afternoon?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Both of those on the side of the box have 5 dots out of 5 possible dots for caffeine level.
Oh, Ty, you're a wild man.
Now I'm drinking Coke Zero because it was the only thing in the fridge. It's 0 calories, but I don't believe 0 caffeine. So I am amped up and ready to go for this week. So, all right, the first thing that I need to get out of the way, if we're going to do a little bit of breaking news here, I don't know if you saw this or not, but our boy Adam Amin tweeted it at us. There was an ESPN news release that went out, a PR hit, if you will.
Okay.
Quote, ESPN/ABC will feature a top 10 team in every game window on Statement Saturday.
Oh my goodness.
Statement Saturday, as the two networks combine to carry the majority of top 10 teams in college football's Week 10. Dan, this is a major shot across the bow from our friends over at ESPN.
Well, they've been doing this longer than we. Well, have they? Yeah, probably. This started as a parody of theirs.
Listen, I don't want to take the temperature up too much in the room here, but I do think as we go through this show, it's important for us to come back with a proportional response here.
I have a lot of options, Ty.
I think we need to make it look like we're not just going to be docking someone's damn allowance here. We gotta fire one back across the bow.
So we agree. It is going to be Syracuse Saturday. We can just lock that in. By the way, did you see, because we are now a Syracuse appreciation show, apparently.
Sure.
Are you a Mike Francesa listener? Because you're like a Yankee fan in the Northeast. Are you? I don't know. I honestly don't know.
I was sorry. You caught me mid-sip there.
Okay.
I saw the clip that I believe you're going to reference where he talks about Matt Vasgersian.
No, I don't think it was Matt Vasgersian. I think there was a caller of his who asked him his opinion of the job Dino Babers has done.
Oh, I did not see this.
And Mike Francesa treated him like he was a prank caller making up a name, Dino Babers. Like he hasn't been at Syracuse for 3 years and steadily improving a major university in the state of New York. I don't know who that is. You just making that up. I don't know what's going on. Like it was
New
incredible.
York has blinders up when it comes to anything outside of Rutgers football and Fordham football. We've already established
it is
that.
a Fordham town. Yeah. It was perfect. It was just, and listen, if somebody was like, yeah, my uncle is on the lam and he has an assumed name that he checks into hotels under and it's Dino Babers, you'd be like, all right, that's pretty good.
All right.
Sorry.
In actual college football news,
yes, let's get to it.
First college football playoff rankings were revealed. Number 1, Alabama. Number 2, Clemson. Number 3, LSU. Number 4, Notre Dame. Followed by Michigan, Georgia, Oklahoma, Wazoo at 8. Kentucky at 9. Ohio State at 10. Any surprises here?
Not dramatically so. I mean, I believe Notre Dame fans feel slighted, right? Because they're undefeated and behind LSU. But it's week 1 of the rankings release. My question to you is, and I don't know if you have any surprises. It all seems about right. You want to put Oklahoma ahead of Georgia? I think I might be okay with that. I like that Wazoo. They are where they are right now, but certainly has a chance to climb. Here's my question to you, Ty. I think there is a separation pretty early on in the rankings between dinner party and what like a potluck.
Yeah.
Where there are teams that can throw a full dinner party where they're entertaining and there's people making small talk and good cocktails and nice music. And I think that stops probably at Washington State, like after Washington State.
Okay.
And everybody else is potlucking where like they're not super dependable, but they can bring a dish of mac and cheese.
Right.
They can bring dessert. They can be counted on to bring napkins. And I think that line is between 8 and 9. Kentucky can bring a hell of a dessert.
I think that line's after Alabama and Clemson, to be perfectly honest with you.
That, you know what, Ty? Be cool. We need more to talk about.
Well, I'm just saying. It could be after Alabama. We'll get to Alabama LSU, but realistically, it could be after Alabama and Clemson.
Yeah, those are the pros at a dinner party, but like Notre Dame can order a bunch of pizzas and keep people happy.
I think it's after Oklahoma. I think it's between 7
so before Wazoo. What is lacking for you with Wazoo being a full service playoff team?
I know it's a system they run. I know Gardner Minshew's been really good. I know it's all predicated on the short passing game. I'm not convinced they are multidimensional enough to mount a serious charge against any of those teams above them.
Okay.
All right.
I think that's reasonable.
I like their defense too. Their defense has actually been pretty good, which was, they lose Alex Grinch. The question was going to be, how's the defense going? Defense has actually been pretty good this year, but that's my one concern. I feel like they're very one-dimensional. You could make that case about some other teams above them, mind you, but that's if we're going to expand beyond the top two, my line is between 7 and 8. And to answer your question, your earlier, I guess not question, but point, as a Notre Dame fan, I don't feel slighted at 4. I think LSU has a pretty good resume to this point. And
definitely.
If all goes well, if you're a Notre Dame fan, LSU drops beneath Notre Dame after this week anyway. So just take it with a grain of salt.
If that line is Wazoo, it sounds like you are into Wazoo, but not fully sold, which I think is somewhat reasonable.
Right.
Give me somebody below Wazoo. Is it Ohio State? Is it West Virginia with how their schedule looks? Is it Penn State, who could, I guess, potentially make a second half run? Utah, who just looks better and better by the week. Who might be your buy low candidate? Not necessarily to make the playoff, but to come Thanksgiving say, listen, they're just hanging around.
Oh, it's Ohio State.
Okay.
It's Ohio State because if Ohio State beats Michigan, they're going to jump above. They have to jump above Kentucky. No disrespect to Kentucky. They have to jump above Washington State. They may jump in front of Oklahoma. I don't know. But I think Ohio State right now, I was surprised to see them all the way down at 10. I think they're still a pretty good team. A little bit of, turmoil there, but I still think Ohio State's a pretty good team. That's
got to start rooting for the Boilers.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about Maryland. Maryland came out with, what was it, a finding regarding this whole DJ Durkin investigation that's been ongoing?
Yes. So the Board of Regents decided to, after a long investigation by outside investigators, athletic investigators, whatever, that it should be time for DJ Durkin not to be fired with cause as it relates to the culture that he helped to cultivate, as that's sort of tangentially related to Jordan McNair's tragic death during the offseason, but to bring him back to say, time served, and this is who should be running Maryland football, despite mounting evidence that he helped to foster they stopped short of toxic, but abusive culture. And then, predictably, there was a ton of backlash, whether it was media or students. I know there was a student body government organization trying to reverse the decision. The governor weighed in. Just everybody looked at the situation, and rightfully so, Ty, saying, "What? Wait, what? What? Why? Why are you doing this?" And now he is gone. The decision was reversed. DJ Durkin is out. It's Wallace Lowe, I believe, is the president. So it was the regents that recommended he stay. And now that decision has been reversed. And DJ Durkin is no longer the head coach at Maryland.
What a sad situation. And really, what a mess now. DJ Durkin did seem to have Maryland going in a good direction. However, it obviously was not all positive beneath the surface. So
yeah, it was a really, you could see the writing on the wall immediately that this was probably not going to last. At his initial meeting with players, there were players, not just random ones, starters walked out of the meeting. These are players that had a friendship, that had a bond, a brotherhood with Jordan McNair, and they're wearing decals commemorating him, and they're kneeling next to his number on the field. And then for nobody to be seemingly held accountable, that sent an awful message that was rectified pretty quickly, but still a very backwards way of going about business. So hopefully this can begin a culture shift at Maryland that seems like it was much needed.
The other thing that I guess we saw on the coaching front was Urban Meyer talking about his health and the brain cyst.
Yes. So he revealed to some reporters, I saw Yahoo reported it, that since 1998, he's known that he's had a cyst in his brain. He had surgery, I believe, in 2014, 2015 to alleviate some of the pain. We saw him go down on a knee against, I want to say it was Indiana. With a ton of headache pain, and sort of irrespective of if that's the right word, all of everything that happened with Ohio State and the offseason and his involvement and his irresponsibility with all of that, strange that somebody would go through that and push themselves health-wise, maybe unnecessarily. So we could be seeing the last, I don't know, 8, 10, 12 weeks of Urban Meyer at Ohio State. It's interesting. And Ryan Day, the offensive coordinator, seems like, because there were stories about this earlier on in the season, that if there were to be a vacancy at Ohio State, he would be a front runner.
Yeah,
and I would imagine, they'd kick the tires maybe on Matt Campbell and see if he had some kind of vision for Ohio State. But it doesn't sound like, Urban Meyer is going to be there for the long term.
Well, you hope the best for him and his health first and foremost. Meyer in college football, depending who you talk to, can be a controversial figure, but nonetheless, I think that goes out the window when you talk about a man's health. So we wish him well. Hate to see that, but hope he's able to find some comfort. It sounds like a bad situation for sure.
Yep.
Clay Helton got a vote of confidence. Did I see that?
Yeah, the dreaded vote of confidence.
Okay. Great.
So after the ASU loss, which USC actually didn't look terrible on offense, and especially given it was their third string quarterback, Jack Sears, Clay Helton ends up letting go of Neil Callaway, who he's known and coached with forever, his offensive line coach. And offensive line has been a pretty glaring weakness for this USC team. And essentially, I guess, demoted T. Martin, his offensive coordinator, as he will now take over, as Helton will take over play calling duties. And my favorite part of this entire thing, because I just want USC to be entertaining, like I want everybody to be entertaining, is the fact that T. Martin deleted all references to USC from his Twitter profile.
Oh, snap.
A very 2018
snap
epilogue to the story.
Okay.
So I don't know if T. Martin will be wearing cardinal and gold next season.
Interesting. Okay.
Don't know if that will be a thing.
Hey, and the other thing I wanted to point out, we got a few notes about this.
Mm-hmm.
There was actually Tuesday night football, and can we do a Tuesday Dude Alert?
Yeah.
A little early. Usually we do it on a Sunday, but there were some dudes for the Buffalo Bulls.
Can I say Dude Alerts for a Tuesday Dude Alert?
Sure.
Is that too crazy for me to do?
Sure.
The Buffalo Bulls are really good. So
Yeah.
I think they've only lost once. They have not lost in the MAC, and they take down nothing great, Miami of Ohio, but Tyree Jackson, goes for almost 400 total yards through the air, Buffalo's quarterback, 3 touchdowns through the air, 3 touchdowns on the ground, all three of them through the air to Anthony Johnson, who you gave a terrible nickname to in the offseason.
Yeah.
And that's 6 touchdowns, and one of them went about 60 yards in the air to Johnson. We just have 2 dudes here being dudes. That's all it is.
All right. Well, if you've got anything else to say, folks, again, you can write in solidverbal@gmail.com or go to the website, solidverbal.com, fill out the contact form, look us up, give us a holler. In the meantime, though, Dan,
Yeah.
we got to talk about some games.
Dan, time, help. I need picks of the week.
It is a big week, a big Saturday, a big nameless Saturday. I refuse to acknowledge whatever ESPN came up with, Statement Saturday. I love ESPN, by the way, but I feel like we can do better.
Wow.
I was
Give me
workshopping
an
this
attempt.
all day. We already had a Sherpa Saturday a year ago.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking along those lines, like guiding us through the week, but I couldn't come up with anything. So the first attempt I have here is Sting Saturday, as in Sting the musician, because he had that one song called Moon Over Bourbon Street.
Oh my God. I don't even know that song.
I don't really know Sting all that well, but as opposed to stinging or stingy, a sting Saturday. I don't know.
Okay. I myself workshop Ty.
Yeah.
And one of my first ones was Sideswipe Saturday.
Sideswipe. Okay.
Sideswipe Saturday. Everything's going well. You're progressing along nicely. Your Notre Dame, teams on your schedule falling by the wayside. Everything's looking good. And bam, there's Northwestern. Out of nowhere.
But that only applies to Notre Dame.
No, there's others. We've got some others. Alabama's cruising along.
I mean, if you're LSU, you're not getting sideswiped by Alabama.
No, I'm saying Alabama getting sideswiped by out of nowhere. Joe Burrow, 285, 2 touchdowns, no picks.
Pulling a Joe Dirt. Okay. Right.
Yeah. I'm talking Michigan, just cruising along, Penn State looking shaky. And all of a sudden, we get vintage Trace McSorley. Trace McSorley looking like he did in 2016, 2017. You know, the receivers aren't nearly where they were. Out of nowhere, sideswipe.
We got to keep working. We got to beat Statement Saturday. That's where we're at here. Okay. Anyway, listen, if you're out and about, try not to leave the house. I hate to say that, but try not to. If you have to, just try to be home by like 5 o'clock on the East Coast, 2 p.m. on the West Coast. We've got a big Saturday of college football in front of us. Let's start at 3:30 with a big headliner, 2 really big headliners in the SEC. The first of which is at 3:30. It's on CBS, and it's Georgia on the road at Kentucky, a 9.5-point favorite here, Dan. Now listen. Kentucky wants to do 2 things. They want to run the ball, and they want to hold you under 20 points. That's their formula if they want to win. I happen to believe they can run the football against Georgia. I think they can. Yep. LSU and Florida both ran the ball pretty well against the Dogs, and Kentucky's a better rushing team than both of them. So I think Kentucky can run the ball with Benny Snell.
Okay.
Where you lose me is holding them under 20. That's the stretch to me. I think it's imperative because the Kentucky offense has not scored more than 15 points in like a month. So I'm going to ruin the suspense a little bit here. I know we like to build to a crescendo. I don't think Kentucky's good enough on offense to win this game. They haven't looked that good in a full month. So Georgia wins the game. The question then that I have for you is, can Kentucky cover?
Yes, they can. So what you did right now is you began seasoning my apprehension stew about this line with your Benny Snell versus the Georgia run defense that has given up, not a ton of, but people have been able to move the ball against the Dogs on the ground. That's the first few shakes of seasoning. I would add, we've got a home dog with a very good defense within the SEC. A tough place. I don't think Lexington is a tier or 2 below the top of the SEC, but this is by far the biggest game on the Kentucky home slate. Also, this is Georgia's 2nd straight game away from home. Granted, last week was not on campus. It was a neutral site game against Florida, but a potential letdown.
Yeah.
After that. So I'm adding chunks, Ty. I'm adding chunks of ingredients to this apprehension stew.
Do we want to add a little body blow? Maybe a body blow after last week's game? Never know.
Yeah, I mean there was a lot of running after incomplete Felipe Franks passes. I guess
that's what I'm talking about.
Tire you out a little bit. I'm going to take Kentucky to cover. I don't think there is. Listen, I was going to say I don't think there's enough firepower, but that would imply there is firepower beyond workmanlike effort from Benny Snell. Because here's the thing, and I think you're right, Ty. And we'll move on to the next game momentarily. I don't want to come off as mean-spirited. I swear to you, I don't. But this Kentucky offense is not average, below average, up and down, inconsistent, here or there. This is a bad offense.
Yes, thank you.
This is a full-on bad offense that is not fun to watch. Would rather watch a fun version of it. But they needed literally no time left in the game to get to 13 points last week?
That's right.
There is a weird bad penalty. So I have this as 20-13 Georgia. That the defense from Kentucky is good enough to hold Georgia down for a chunk, but not that just the firepower is not there.
Okay. I think I agree with you to the extent that Kentucky can muddy this game up to keep it interesting. I do think, though, Georgia wears them down over the course of 60 minutes. I think they open it up late the way they did against Florida. Kentucky's going to try to do the same, but I do trust in Jake Fromm, who got his groove back a week ago, by the way.
Yeah.
I trust in him as a true sophomore more than anyone else in the field. And I also think that Georgia's got a really big advantage on special teams. We don't talk enough about special teams.
Rodrigo!
But they're much, much better, not just in the kicking game, but on kick and punt returns.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Georgia wins this game. I think they cover on the road, but I think it's low scoring. I'm going to say 24-13.
Yeah. On the road, they haven't been... It's been a dicey road since that South Carolina game.
We disagree! Moving on. 3:30 on Fox. West Virginia at Texas. The Longhorns, 2.5-point home favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Two teams, Dan, they're coming at this from totally different directions. We had West Virginia clobber Baylor last week, and then we had Texas lose on the road against Oklahoma State. Does this or does this not count as one of those games that we've talked about all year for Texas? One of those games that they play up for because they see it coming, they know it's big, and they generally answer the call when they've got a lot to play for.
Yeah, I think that's right. It's at home. It is the biggest game left on Texas's schedule, especially at home, where they tend to play better. In retrospect, comfortably beating USC and TCU may not have that same cachet as it did when they happened, because TCU probably has the worst offense in the Big 12, if it's not Kansas, who they just lost to. And USC has certainly taken a couple of hits, side swipes, if you will, Ty.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think Sam Ehlinger has a good game. I don't think that they're going to get much from their run game, but I like these receivers from Texas. The thing that concerns me most about Texas in a spot like this is the sloppiness, the discipline, the penalties. I think it was 11 penalties last week against Oklahoma State. And Will Grier brings out the worst in a lot of defensive players because he can be unbelievably precise. And so I'd be worried about that, especially with how Texas started last week and some really fast West Virginia starts, coupled with how Texas' defense looked. You said it was 260 yards, I think, in the first quarter that Oklahoma State put on them.
That is right.
So I am going to go with UT here.
Okay.
And the reason for that is West Virginia in second halves this year, and I could go back to last year too, but this year they've been abysmal. And I think it's going to be close. The spread's about 2.5. Vegas, I guess, sort of thinks that I've seen 1.5 as well, that West Virginia is the better team on a neutral field. But there's something about West Virginia just hitting that wall at halftime that has me taking UT at home, sneaking by. I have it 28-23.
28-23. That's a low scoring game.
Pretty low scoring. Yeah, I think Texas' secondary gets its act together at home after last week's kind of abomination.
Well, I'm going to go in the other direction, actually. I think 41-37 West Virginia. I'm not sure what the Texas offense is at all here.
Okay.
They don't have much of a running game. They're not generating big plays. I love their receivers, but it just feels like so much comes down to Sam Ehlinger. I'm just not sure what their offense is outside of him. That said, I know a lot about what West Virginia's offense is, and I know they want to throw it. So my question really is, can Texas slow down Will Grier? I hadn't really looked at the numbers before this game. Efficiency-wise, they are not great against the pass. Not great. In spots, maybe.
Sure.
But what worries me is what we saw against Oklahoma, what we saw against Oklahoma State. Both of those schools have very good passing attacks, and they combined for about a 73% completion percentage against Texas, which is not good. I think this game's a track meet. I do think West Virginia is the better team. This game has a now or never feel to it for Dana Holgorsen and Will Grier in West Virginia. I think, too, that this season's very much in front of the Mountaineers with some big games coming up throughout November. So I'm just going to go with my gut here and say West Virginia 41-37 on the road. Big win in Austin.
Points.
A lot of points, yeah.
Okay. We
do disagree. Let's move on. Let's go 3:45 on ESPN. ESPN. What about something Saturday?
I can't say that out loud. I cannot stand by that. Why is something?
I don't know. There's just a little something this week, you know?
Something. I just sound too awkward saying that repeatedly.
Sustenance Saturday. There's a lot to it that you can sink your teeth into Saturday.
That's a full sentence. I have. So, by the way, do we have a de-esser on this show? Because it's going to need it. What about Slither in Saturday?
Like a Harry Potter theme.
Slither in Saturday? No, just sort of like an unexpected
slither in, not slither in. What about Slither in from Harry Potter?
I don't know. I've never seen a Harry Potter.
I wish the solid wife were here. She would know all about. I'm really struggling with this, Dan.
Slither in. So we got Northwestern, we got LSU, we got Texas Tech. But who is going to? How about this? Oh, Ty, I think I have it. Oh my gosh. You ready?
Yeah.
Snake in the toilet Saturday. I'm using that slither.
I mean, it's funny, but there's no like secrecy to this week. Everyone knows it's big.
No. I'm saying it's the sum of all fears.
It could be sum of all fears Saturday.
It could be sum of all fears Saturday. I'm just saying snake in the toilet Saturday will generate a very good graphic on your end.
All right. Well, we'll continue workshopping.
Okay.
3:45 on ESPN. Penn State at Michigan.
Yes.
10 points in favor of the Wolverines. So I'm curious here, actually. I need to get your take on something.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is a contest between the two things you hate the most in life, which is Michigan football and Trace McSorley. Am I right?
Listen, I love Michigan football. I am part of a Michigan family. The Michigan football tradition is rich with history and enthusiasm and family tie.
But you hate Trace McSorley. You really hate him.
I don't hate Trace McSorley.
You
I very
hate
much
him.
like Trace. When you try to make the case that you would like choose him over any college football quarterback in a big game, or you think he's one of the best 3 quarterbacks in college football this season, you just lose me. That's it. That's all it is. I enjoy him.
We have a long off the record G chat going.
Yeah.
Where you just assail Trace McSorley.
I don't know. I don't see it this year. That's all. Maybe it's his receivers. Maybe it's his offensive line. But start playing the blame game.
Right.
Got to include everybody.
So look, I'm gonna go ahead and blow my cover here.
Mm-hmm.
I stand by what I've been saying all year, that Penn State's 7 points better or worse than any good team in the country. And in a situation like this, they're getting 10 double digits.
Yep.
I'm gobbling up those
right around
points.
There. Okay.
Gobbling up those points. And I have rationale for this, but I want to hear what you have to say.
Michigan has had a week off to prepare for this game. It's in Ann Arbor. Weather's supposed to be good, so there's no sogginess, dampness that I've seen come across the Doppler. Do you have a preferred, by the way, radar? Are you a NAM? Are you a Euro?
I have hot takes on radars, by the way.
Okay. Well, what is your take? Here's your chance.
Well, I'm fine with the good old Doppler, but
okay.
What I have a problem with is when weather people try to wrap it with marketing. 3-layer Doppler, or every news station has some kind of marketing that they use to soup up their Doppler, like Mega Doppler 4.
You have to, though.
You have to, but I maybe weather people out there can tell me how different are they really? I mean, because on some level they're just green, or you take it into a little bit of post-production and turn the green to a different shade of yellow. Like, I don't know. I'm put off by some of the marketing that I see around the Doppler radar.
Are you pro or anti Cantori?
Oh, I'm pro.
Oh, you gotta be pro.
You gotta be pro.
Okay. I wanted to find some common ground because we've been disagreeing an unexpectedly high number of times. This
Cantori is the
legend,
the Ed Orgeron of weather.
That's true. I like that. Or any number of jacked refs.
That's right.
Okay. As it relates to Michigan, as we come back,
this is coming off the swivel, maybe off the swivel Saturday.
Swivel free Saturday.
Swivel free Saturday. Not bad. Okay. Leader in the clubhouse. Swivel free.
Michigan's defense is, even without Rashawn Gary, I don't think he's going to play this week. He's still recovering from a shoulder injury. They are incredible. This might be the best defense in the country when you look at all 3 levels. And I think Penn State's going to struggle with that. And they were able to succeed last year, generating explosive plays. And they've had to rely on those same explosive plays. We saw it against Iowa whether it was Trace McSorley and that 50-yard run, KJ Hamler getting loose like he has all season long. Michigan may be the best team in the country at preventing those chunk plays.
Right.
And so Penn State is not necessarily a team that is built around efficiency, around getting to 2nd and 2s and everything like that. So that matchup, that specific matchup worries me. Michigan with time to game plan here, Michigan getting healthier on offense, opening up that offense, letting Shea Patterson run around a little bit. I don't love the middle of this Penn State defense, and I think it's just a bad matchup. I have this one, I think I wrote it down, 144. No, I think I have this at like 31-17 Michigan. I think they take it.
Texas with a $. Okay. I think Michigan's going to pound it on the ground. I think eventually they wear down Penn State's defense. Penn State's going to move the ball. You know, like the Notre Dame game at the beginning of the year, Brandon Wimbush had a lot of success running the football against Michigan. And I just think between Trace, between Miles Sanders.
Do they have a busted knee?
Well, but Penn State's going to find some way to move the ball on the ground. What bothers me is all the mistakes they've been making elsewhere. You got the drops in the passing game. You got all the issues in special teams against bad teams and bad defenses. Generally speaking, that stuff doesn't just miraculously work itself out against the best defense you've played all year. So it's probably unrealistic that they're just going to vanish in a place like the Big House. But I don't know. Like, I'm going to stand by what I said. I truly feel that Penn State is within a touchdown of anyone. I think this is a close game. I think they bring their A game. I'm going to say 23-20. Michigan wins.
How has Penn State been on the road this year? Not great.
Nah, not great. Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, I don't think Michigan is unbeatable, mostly because they've already lost. And you watch that Notre Dame game. I think you're right about Wimbush. But I think the thing that had the biggest effect on Michigan losing that game was the amount of pressure Notre Dame's defense put on Michigan's offense and Shea Patterson and how out of rhythm Michigan looked.
That's right.
And I don't necessarily, even with YGM, Etor, Gross Matos.
That's right.
Even with him and Micah Parsons, whatever, I don't think this Penn State defense has that sort of harassment ceiling that Notre Dame's does.
Harassment ceiling. I love
harassment ceiling Saturday.
So we disagree again. It's 3 in a row.
Disagreement Saturday. Let's keep it rolling.
7 p.m. ESPN. Notre Dame at Northwestern. The line opened at 7. It's up to 9.5. Notre Dame, the favorite. First off, I had no idea this game was at 7:15, and I got to be honest, I'm very pissed about that.
Okay.
I do not have a good feeling about a night game now, on top of what I said back in July that this game already scared the hell out of me. So first and foremost, up front, I am gobbling up those 9.5. I am taking Northwestern plus the points.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Not even a question in my mind.
Okay. What do you think the color ratio will be? I'm going to get myself in trouble.
Be careful.
I know it sounds very bad. Between purple in the stands to blue and gold, given that Chicago and environs therein, that's the Notre Dame town.
Northwestern kids are smart, and they're going to put those tickets up on StubHub.
Right.
StubHub, not a sponsor. 75-25?
75-25 Notre Dame.
Yeah.
So this is a satellite home game for the Irish.
Yes.
Okay. So not exactly a multi-sport field situation.
No.
Not a hornet's nest. This is Notre Dame's second straight game away from home. They went to San Diego and took on Navy last week. But again, it should not be a not home game. Northwestern's pretty mistake prone. And without that home field advantage, and maybe we'll be totally wrong about this. Maybe it'll be a sea of purple. But
Sea of Purple Saturday.
Sea of Purple Saturday, the only game that matters. Notre Dame at Northwestern. The other thing is, this is post-Navy week. And
should I play the sound again?
Please do. Northwestern's defense is pretty good. Northwestern's offense is improving, but still not particularly dangerous. I think Notre Dame, but they lose to Stanford comfortably last year after Navy. They lose to, going back a few years, I want to say that was a Taylor Kelly Arizona State team.
Right.
And I believe they lost to Pitt when they went on the road also after Navy. So Navy and then road has not been a particularly healthy recipe for success for Notre Dame. But I think Notre Dame's going to be too much here. Northwestern's been playing some heavy opponents. And I think I'll go body blow both ways. I think Notre Dame takes this one 30-18.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think offensively, I think Ian Book has proven himself to be pretty calm on the road in a big spot at night. And defensively, I don't believe in Northwestern being able to make adjustments if they shoot themselves in the foot too many times.
So I looked at Northwestern's efficiency metrics.
Mm-hmm.
If they were a house, they'd be a house without insulation. These numbers are awful on offense. They are really
I think a lot
bad.
of that is September, but yes.
It could be September, and maybe, Isaiah Bowser can give them something more at running back. He does have 2 straight 100-yard games on the ground, but the numbers haven't been there. You're right, though. The defense has been pretty solid this season, but they have had trouble against teams with quarterbacks that can run. Dual threat quarterbacks, if you will. And I'm looking at Akron and Nebraska specifically. I expect that you're going to see Ian Book on the move. I would not be surprised if we saw a weird package with Brandon Wimbush in there, put him on the move. This is a game, that dual threat quarterback game, that Notre Dame would be very happy to play if it came down to it against Northwestern. So I do think Notre Dame has a very specific advantage here, but 9.5 points is too much.
I'm going to give them. I love Disagreement Saturday so much.
Saturday, 8 p.m. This is a biggin. Ooh, biggin. CBS, Alabama, the number 1 team, the new college football playoff rankings, on the road in Baton Rouge against number 3 in the new college football playoff rankings. LSU, the line here, 14.5. First off, go out, everybody, and read what Ivan Maisel wrote on ESPN.com. where he's asking whether or not this is the greatest Alabama team ever. A great point for debate. Surely you and I would botch the historical context if we attempted it on this show. All I'm going to say is this. 10 years of doing this show, this Alabama team is scarier because the offense is averaging 54 points per game. And just to give everyone a reference point, usually they're in like the mid to upper 30s per game. And that's on a good year. So what we're seeing right now from Alabama is truly next level stuff.
Yes, I think we're almost positive we are. It is, it's that push and pull of the offense looking way better than it ever has in the modern Nick Saban era. But by proxy, by result of that, the defense has taken a step back as they're thrust into situations sooner than they expect to because the offense is scoring so quickly. I understand the concerns about Alabama's schedule. They can do very little about the quality of the teams they play.
Yeah.
They just blow them out quickly. And that's what an excellent team should do.
Yeah. I mean, that's the counterpoint that I used years ago talking about Boise State. The schedule doesn't make the team. All the team can do is win against their opponents. And Alabama has been dominant. No one's been anywhere close to the Crimson Tide this year.
Yeah. It's been nothing. And it's been nothing but style points. Style point Saturday. I believe in this Alabama team to a pretty healthy degree. I know there's, Trevon Diggs is hurt, one of their starting corners. Devontae Smith is, I think, a maybe for this game. They're a little healthier along the offensive line than they've been. If you are going to take down this Alabama team, is there a single quality that you would want from that team? Because to me, and if you look at how the numbers bear it out, and if you've watched Alabama at all, which I can't imagine watching Bama for more than a quarter and a half this year, if you're not an Alabama fan or a fan of the team they're playing, they will give up some bigger plays. They did against Texas A&M. They did through the air against Arkansas. And that has been sort of the formula. We saw the old Johnny Manziel teams. We saw the Ole Miss teams. We saw the Clemson teams. You have to be able to test them down the field. You have to be able to get plays in chunks, because if you give Bama opportunities on defense, one after the other, they're going to take them and silence you.
Right.
LSU is not that chunk team.
They are not that chunk team.
They are just not the team to be able to, because to beat this Alabama team, I don't think it's crazy to say that at their worst, at their most shut down, you got to be able to score 28.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
By the way, historically, Ty, the last time LSU scored 30 against Alabama?
No.
It predates our show.
Wow.
2007, Nick Saban's first year.
Okay.
And with this Alabama offense, I love LSU's defense. I think they match up really nicely with that secondary. They may have the best safety in the country in Grant Delpit. Again, it's a firepower thing to me. And LSU is definitely not an LRO team, but they might have an LRO offense, a luck runs out offense. And LSU is very good, but Alabama's something special. I have Alabama here winning but not covering.
Okay.
Because I think LSU does limit the possessions. I think LSU keeps it closer than 14, but maybe just barely. So I have this one at like 28-17. Bama.
What about something special Saturday?
It's not bad, but it's not weird enough for us.
All right. I agree with a lot of what you said.
That's that really good defense at home in a hostile place element of my thinking.
That's right. I don't think this is a 9-6 slugfest. That's just not going to happen here. So I think if you're picking LSU to win or cover here, you're drinking a little bit of my new favorite craft brew, which I am affectionately calling the Wishful Thinking Game Day IPA.
Okay.
I just made that up.
Do we have a hop-fensive coordination?
I think right
Abita
now
is a really good.
I think right now I'm the hop-fensive coordinator with my imaginary beer.
Okay.
So tweet us if you've got suggestions. We'll tweet that out. I have no reason to doubt Alabama, and I'm not going to overthink it. As a Notre Dame fan this season, it really feels like a race for second place because Alabama, in my mind, is so far and away better than everyone. Mm-hmm. And I have no reason to go against that logic. So let's just go ahead and lock up Alabama.
Lock of the week.
Biggest game of the week, biggest lock of the year, but yeah, let's not overthink it. Let's go Bama minus anything.
Can I offer a wild card that I really don't hope comes true, but I think is worth bringing up?
Please.
Jalen Hurts is injured. Jalen Hurts is not practicing. He's not practicing at full strength.
Okay.
Tua is, I think by all accounts, healthy. His knee, he had issues, I think, throwing off of his knees, which I don't think he'll be doing anyway, but throwing off of his knees, indicating that he's had some issues there. He's still wearing the brace. But if he tweaks that knee, if he tweaks an ankle, if he gets a shoulder driven into the ground, again, don't want any of this. I want both of these teams at full strength. I want a slugfest Saturday. But we're moving on to Mac Jones, playing quarterback for Alabama at LSU in Death Valley.
Shoulder injury Saturday.
Yeah, it's I'm not standing by that at all. But there's some secret thinness to this Alabama LSU game that I'm very interested to see.
We disagree. Moving on. 8 p.m. ABC, Oklahoma at Texas Tech. Texas Tech, a 13-point home dog. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Let's deep dive Tech here for a second.
Mm-hmm.
This defense has been much better this year. But they are struggling against teams that actually play offense.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Which is a big fly in the ointment. Big fly in the ointment. If you'd like to look at some priors, go check on their work against Ole Miss. Houston, go look at that West Virginia game. I guess the
old news, Ty. It's old news.
I guess the oddball would be Oklahoma State. And to their credit, they did hold Oklahoma State down to the tune of 17 points. But the truth of the matter is that this team is built to play in and win shootouts. It's like their stylistic decision. It's like an overshift in baseball. You just decide to play a certain way, and that's the way that they've decided to play. They're just going to take their chances. They're going to try to outscore you. And, Oklahoma State is not the worst team to deploy that strategy against. Sure. It really isn't. And, while we're at it, I know I'm rambling, but maybe a bit of an open-faced look-ahead sandwich for Oklahoma because they got Bedlam on deck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not the worst thing to notice. I think Texas Tech's defense has been much improved. Granted, we are talking TCU, Kansas, and I will add, and it's not fully representative, but it was just a stinker of a first quarter against West Virginia. They shut them down basically after that first quarter. That it's a big asterisk. That doesn't mean anything because they lost the game. Texas Tech's defense improved. I'm going to take Tech at home. Oklahoma has been, let's see, they gave up how many points to Texas on the road? A lot. And that was a neutral site game. Half the stadium was OU fans.
Right.
They definitely gave up a good chunk of yardage to Iowa State pre-Purdy like a Brock star. That's Zeb Noland, Iowa State on the road.
Right.
And Lubbock's just a strange place to play. If you haven't read our pal Bruce Feldman's sort of oral history of the Mayfield Mahomes, like 70,000 yard shootout
was so good.
from, you could see it, by the way.
Yeah.
You could see it coming from a mile away that there were going to be those kinds of pieces this week, but Bruce did a great job, as you know, no surprise there. I'm going to take the points here. I'm going to take the points when we have this sort of back and forth slugfest. And by the way, in terms of this Saturday's name, Ty, I've got another one I think you're going to like.
Okay.
And by like, I think it's going to make you uncomfortable because this game is making me uncomfortable in the best possible way. What about Sow Your Oats Saturday?
Whoa.
Because there's a lot of sexiness in front of us, Ty. A lot of people willing to get wild. Whether it's
need some
Kentucky
water in
defense, come on, Ty. Whether it's Shea Patterson,
what would I use for a graphic for that?
I don't know. We can have a very steamy G chat about it.
Sow Your Oats.
Sow Your Oats Saturday.
Swivel free or swivel-less versus Sow Your Oats.
Come on, you're thinking about Tua and Death Valley. You're not getting a little excited. You're getting a lot excited. Got Will Greer in Austin. Maybe going out on 6th Street a little too late. You got Notre Dame in Evanston, Illinois.
I was building towards a Sinatra Saturday or a Start Spreading the News Saturday or sultry Saturday.
Sow Your Oats. Listen, you have Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury on the same field.
Sow Your Oats would definitely beat Statement Saturday.
Oh, it easily Ty Lappin Statement Saturday.
All right. I'm going to take the points here. 13's a lot. You know my rule.
Yeah, same.
Take the points to shootout.
Does OU win outright?
OU
wins. Or
wins.
is this an upset city?
OU wins. They win 52-44, but a lot of points.
Yeah, I was going to say, this Oklahoma defense they have a new coordinator, but this is not an off season to change things around and recruit and switch positions and get healthier. This is still the Oklahoma defense, which is below average against a pretty firepowery Texas Tech offense. I love these receivers for the Red Raiders.
British comedy legend Alan Bowman. Back from his destroyed lung or whatever the hell happened to him.
Oh my God, I hope he's better. Semi-collapsed.
Oh my God.
And aren't we all in our own way?
Let's go to our two sponsors for the evening. Let's start with ZipRecruiter, Dan. Listen, there are job sites out there that are going to send you the wrong resumes to sort through. They're going to make you wait for the right candidates to apply to your job. That is not smart. Not smart. You know what is smart? Go to ZipRecruiter.com/solid. Hire the right person. Here's what they do. They don't depend on people finding you. It goes out and proactively finds them. It's very simple. Powerful matching technology is at play here. It scans through thousands of resumes. It identifies the folks with the right skills, education, and experience for your job. It actively invites them to apply, so you get qualified candidates fast. That is why ZipRecruiter is rated number 1 by employers in the United States. And that rating, of course, comes from hiring sites on Trustpilot. Right now, our listeners can get a free trial of ZipRecruiter by going to ZipRecruiter.com/solid. That is ZipRecruiter.com/solid. One more time, ZipRecruiter.com/solid. ZipRecruiter is positively the smartest way to hire. Also brought to you tonight by our good friends over at Lightstream. Listen, like most of us, you probably have a balance on the card and you probably have a higher interest rate than you'd like. Why not turn those balances into one simple monthly payment at a lower fixed interest rate? Why not start saving money? Lightstream offers credit card consolidation loans from just 6.14% APR with autopay. You can get a loan from $5,000 to $100,000, and you can even get your funds as soon as the day you apply. Lightstream believes that people with good credit deserve a great interest rate and no fees. And because they are a division of SunTrust Bank, one of the nation's largest financial institutions, you can have complete peace of mind. Right now, our listeners can save even more with an additional interest rate discount on top of Lightstream's already low rates. The only way to get this discount is to go to lightstream.com/solid. That's lightstream.com/solid, SOLID. Subject, of course, to credit approval. The rate includes a 0.5% auto pay discount. Terms and conditions apply, and offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/solid for more information.
Do it.
All right. We're working on a longer than usual show here, but
That's okay. Listen, Ty, can I tell you something?
yeah.
I was talking to our pal Adam Amin.
Hello,
'cause I had
Adam.
tacos with him in LA.
Yeah.
And he says, every time you say something like, all right, we got to hurry along. We've got a long show going.
Yeah.
He says out loud, I'm adding that part, but he says to himself in his brain, that's okay. I love you guys. The more, the merrier. So I felt encouraged to just waste as much time with Jim Cantori talk as humanly possible, because my sense is if you're listening to this show, you probably like us enough that if it goes 7 minutes long, goes 9 minutes long, it's all right, Ty.
Listen,
the more the merrier with you.
I took meteorology courses in college. I took
Would
some
you have-
meteorology.
Did you have any interest in becoming a weatherman?
A little bit. A little. I
don't think-
told you this before. Before I turned into an IT nerd,
Yeah.
I was very much in broadcast journalism, and
Ty, you would
ended
be
up switching.
killer.
I could have been a weatherman. Another weather guy out there. He doesn't have the prominence of Jim Cantori, but
Right.
check out Bernie Rayno from AccuWeather.
I love that weather meteorologist types, whatever, have these very convenient names.
Oh yeah,
Bernie Rayno?
he's the best, man.
His
he's the best.
rain isn't in his name?
No. RAYNO, not rain.
Yeah, but you
on
say
your parade.
it
More
out loud and it says rain.
More like a ray of sunshine.
That's fine. It still says rain
Does a lot
out
of
loud.
Periscope stuff. He's great in the winter. I've tweeted with him. Yeah.
There are two radiologists. There are two meteorologists in LA. Johnny Mountain is one of them.
That's not real.
It's 100% real.
That's no real name.
And Dallas Raines, RAINES. I'm looking up Johnny Mountain as you start introducing our next game. Yeah, retired weathercaster for
There is
KABC.
no way that's a real name.
Well, listen, if it's not, daughter of. See, I already just ruined my fake explanation. No, it is a real name. It is a real person.
Also, I'll send a shout out to Katie Falinger, who I know very well down in Philly
Okay.
on CBS 3. So yeah,
Mhm.
I'm very tight with the weather community, Dan.
Ty, it's not too late. You could be the news that Eastern PA could use from the skies.
The news you can use from the skies.
Yeah.
All right. We'll get on that. If anyone wants a guest weather forecast, let me know.
wanna talk Auburn?
solidverbal@gmail.com. Let's talk about some other notable games. Let's start with Auburn. They're a 4-point home favorite against Texas A&M. It's on ESPN. It's at high noon. We're going to rifle through a bunch of games here. We've got a long list. I am going Auburn. I tuned them out after those back-to-back losses against Mississippi State and Tennessee, but I think a tough spot for A&M off the loss to Mississippi State. I think the Auburn defense is pretty good. I'm still a little bit scared of A&M, but I wonder if Auburn's starting to pull it together here a little bit. Even if that offense has sort of been a mess, they're at home. They've got the defense. Probably a tight game, but let's go Auburn here. Let's say 28-20.
So just like Texas A&M will probably do, you're targeting Auburn.
I'm targeting Auburn.
That was a violence joke.
Yes.
A football violence joke. We don't want anybody to be hurt. I'm going to take Auburn here. I think they win by a touchdown or so, like 23-16. Texas A&M second straight week on the road against what should be a very good defense. I am concerned. Boobie Whitlow, who has been a revelation for Auburn on the ground, he appears to be a game time decision, and their winning and heartbeat, at least a very faint heartbeat on offense, has been because of his emergence. So worried about that. But again, I just am a big believer with no data at my hands to back it up, but a second straight week on the road in a tough place to play against a team with a very talented defense as Auburn's is. I'm going to take the Tigers here in a moderately low scoring game.
Okay, we agree. Saturday, 3:30, ESPN2, Iowa at Purdue. Purdue, a 3-point favorite. I am not buying Purdue.
Really?
No, I'm not. It feels a lot like they came out of nowhere. They obviously killed Ohio State. And I know the efficiency metrics are very, very high on the Boilermakers. But I am going to go Iowa here because I like their defense a lot. And I think their defense rules supreme in a really weird, low-scoring game. They're getting points, which I like in a game that's going to be low-scoring. So I'm just going to not think twice about it and go Hawkeyes.
Are you forgetting that Purdue went pound for pound, slug for slug with Eastern Michigan? Are you forgetting that they nearly pulled off? No, okay. I like Purdue. I think, again, if I'm going to say that I don't like teams playing a second straight week on the road, I don't like Iowa second straight week on the road. I don't love the matchup for the Hawkeyes. They've been more successful through the air than on the ground, and I like Purdue's pass defense. Now that's come along, So I'm going to take Purdue here, even coming after a pretty bad week on offense at Michigan State. I think the Boilers get it together. I think they win this game by 5 or 6. It's a tough one too after not scoring a single offensive point.
Another disagreement. This has got to be a record. 345 ACC Network, if you have that. Boston College at Virginia Tech. BC is a 2-point road favorite. I'm actually very excited to see BC in this spot. And I know it probably says a lot about me if I'm excited to see this game. I know it doesn't jump off the page, but BC's ranked. They're on the road. I think extremely disconcerting for Virginia Tech that they showed up the way they did or didn't show up the way that they did against Georgia Tech when Georgia Tech ran all over them, literally, figuratively, a week ago. Emotionally, yeah. I think with A.J. Dillon back, I think that BC wants to and can do something similar. But I am going to go Tech here with the points. It feels like a defensive-minded game with a bunch of field goals. And I am unfortunately not convinced that BC can do that against I think, better team like Virginia Tech. I think last week was an aberration.
Put a Pennsylvania stamp on it then.
The Yakos, home dog of the week.
The official Pennsylvania stamp.
I think I like Boston College here.
You baited me into that, by the way.
I know I did. Of course I did. Virginia Tech is not great, and I don't like their defense, and so that really doesn't apply the home dog with a good defense. I don't think Lane, when there aren't interesting stakes, is the most difficult place to play, as we've seen recently. And A.J. Dillon against this defense, I mean, this is a kickoff at Lane at 3:45 p.m. So it's not going to be rocking like it was for Notre Dame. So I'm going to take the Eagles here.
All right. Later on in this show, I may play that sound in reverse to unapply the home dog of the week stamp.
Okay.
Because you did bait me into that. But for now, I'm going to stick to it. Let's go to 4:00 SEC Network. Missouri at Florida. Florida is a 6-point home favorite. I'm going Gators. I guess I just mentioned it on the Sunday show. Neither Barry Odom nor Drew Lock have had much success against ranked teams. I think Missouri probably tries to make Florida throw it to win it. And I'm going to say that Felipe Franks can do it. So, yeah, give me Florida at home -6.
Yeah, I think Florida at home is in a good spot because I watched Mizzou play last week and I am scarred and I can never take Mizzou, especially now on the road, even though they were home last week. I cannot take them in good conscience to put anything on the board. Their offense has been kind of a mess against SEC teams. So I think Florida wears them down. Maybe it's a bit of a crock-potting.
Interesting. Okay.
Bit of a crock-potting.
Was that a British accent?
A little bit, Ty.
Moving on. 7:30.
I went from my manner to English. Yeah.
7:30 on Fox. UCLA at Oregon. This line started at 13s, come all the way down to 7.5. Oregon favorite at home. It's the Chip Bowl.
It is indeed.
Chip Bowl in Eugene. Is anyone else making that joke? I feel like that's cutting edge.
Nobody's making that joke because this game is pretty meaningless. was. This game had a lot of excitement for me before we knew UCLA would be pretty bad and might be starting Wilton Spate, and Oregon would lay just an enormous egg at Arizona. So yeah,
the quickness with which we've gone from Oregon's really on the right track here to Oregon is pure trash.
Okay,
has been absolutely staggering on the Solid Verbal.
I don't think any one of those things. I don't think Oregon is trash. I think Oregon is on the right track, but I think the track needs some repairs and fortification.
Okay.
And Oregon is still a ways away from where they envision themselves. It was also, Ty, let me tell you something. I don't know when the Notre Dame Syracuse game is, but I'm glad they announced it's coming week after
right.
Northwestern. They announced Oregon and like a collaboration Jordan Jumpman uniform for this UCLA game. Because obviously, they figured Chip Kelly coming back to Eugene, it's going to be like this emotional spot and there's going to be just like a cool energy to the game. And then Oregon loses by, 29 at Arizona. And then they had to be like, okay, so yes, we lost and looked abysmal, but check out these cool uniforms, 2 unranked teams. And they're not even that good. The uniforms are not that good. So
okay.
I really hope Oregon pulls it together, and I really hope they finish the season in an encouraging way. But Justin Herbert's in the concussion protocol, and as is their number 1 receiver, Dylan Mitchell. So my feeling is this could be kind of ugly. So I might just take the points. I'd stay away from it.
All right, I'm going to take the points with you. Let's go to 9 p.m. Pac-12 Network. Stanford at Washington. Washington, a 10-point favorite here. First off, I'm assuming Bryce Love isn't playing if the line is 10.
I mean, he even last week when they were competitive against Wazoo, he played a little bit and made a couple plays, but was not a huge factor.
My inclination is to just go points because I'm really not sure who's even going to win this game.
Yeah, I'm going to take points here. I like Washington's defense a ton, which is unfortunate. They're another one of those potluck teams that's way back in line with their Tupperware, that they're just bringing kind of half a team at this point. And Stanford has that passing game. They're going to slow it down. Stanford's tempo is not particularly robust. So I just think the possessions will be limited to the point where just take the points here.
And 10:45 on ESPN, we've got Cal at Wazoo. Wazoo, a 10.5-point favorite, but Cal with a unique situation in that they can essentially take out the great state of Washington. They had the big win last week, 12-10 over the Huskies. Now they're on the road against Wazoo. Wazoo was, again, number 8 in the new college football playoff rankings. And, I'm a big letdown guy this year, so I was thinking this could be a great time to fade Cal. But Wazoo's also coming back off the huge back-to-back wins over Oregon and Stanford. So this is like a double letdown spot for them as well. And just this game in general, I don't know. I'm going to take points is what I'm going to do.
I'm going to give points.
I'm going to take points. I'm going to take points here, Cal plus the points.
I believe in the Mississippi mustache and Gardner Minshew, who is inching closer to becoming the Manhattan mustache. How about that?
Okay. We disagree.
And Cal has nothing on offense.
They don't. They don't.
And even in a letdown spot, even against what Cal's defense is actually really good, especially against the pass. I really like their corners. I like their secondary. Even in a letdown spot, they're scoring. Wazoo is scoring 27, something like that at home. This Cal defense can only do so much when their offense is going to leave the field quickly. And so Cal's not scoring 30. I don't see it. So I have this at what's the spread, about 10 points?
10.5.
10.5. Yeah, I think Wazoo eventually covers this, maybe win by about 17.
All right. Can we do bullet train games here?
Okay, sure.
All right, just boom, boom, boom. First thing that comes to mind, 7:30 on Thursday as we travel back in time on ESPN. Temple at UCF. UCF a 10.5-point favorite. Who you got?
Temple. Give me the Owls. UCF is not the same team, but I love the Owls.
I'm going to agree with you. I think they can keep it within 10.5. 7:30 on Friday. ESPN2. Pitt at UVA. UVA 7.5 points the favorite. As you know, this is now a UVA podcast, Dan.
Go Hoos. I'm going to take Virginia here. Pitt on the road, not great, and UVA is solid and is that team that just takes advantage of teams' mistakes. Pitt's defense is the worst thing in this game. Go Hoos.
Say it with me. The Bryce is right, baby.
The Bryce is right.
The Bryce.
Go eat a sandwich at Little John's if it's still there.
I'm going with the Hoos. All right. 12 p.m. on Fox. We've got Syracuse at Wake Forest. Wake, a 4.5 point home dog. I think a nice little look ahead spot here for Syracuse with Notre Dame on deck. So I'm going to go Demon Deacons.
Yeah, I'm going to go Deacons as well. Syracuse away from the Dome is not the same team. I like Wake here, and they're my Yakos home dog of the week. How about that?
Wow.
I believe
The Yakos home dog of the week.
I don't know why. I just felt like doing that.
I think that's a good bet, Dan.
Okay.
12 p.m. on Fox. We've got Nebraska at Ohio State. Line was 21. Line now is 17.5 in favor of Ohio State at home. I'm going to go Nebraska here, plus the points.
I'm gonna take those points as well. Maybe a stick and move Saturday tie.
Whoa.
A little boxing reference.
Like it. Stick and move.
I
Little Mac.
workshopped. Yeah, Nebraska is, I think they're probably more of like a, not snake in the toilet, but like sow your oats. Like, screw it. Let's just go wild. Let's throw everything we have at Ohio State and hope to keep it competitive and see what happens. Just hang around.
Screw it, stick and move, sow your oats. We've got a number of competitors here that we're going to need to decide at the end.
Yes. Next.
Both taking the points. We agree. 12 p.m. ABC. Louisville at Clemson. 37.5 points. Clemson's the favorite. This is an astronomical point spread for a conference game for two Power 5 teams. Yet there is not a single bone in my body that wants to go Louisville plus the points.
Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it. Louisville circling the toilet. Yeah. This one does not have a snake. This toilet is snake free.
All right. 3:30 ABC. Florida State at NC State. NC State 7-point favorite. Florida State, Dan, feels like they came apart a little bit last week. Willie Taggart talking about guys quitting on them.
Yeah.
I think this is a close game. And I have a low level of confidence, unfortunately, in NC State in what I still think is a pretty big game for them. So I don't know who wins, but I'm going to go points.
Yeah, losing by 50, that's pretty demoralizing. And then to go on the road, NC State isn't great, but they're all right. I think NC State wins by a couple touchdowns at home.
Also, I believe this is the Adam Amin game in Raleigh.
That's true.
We do have a voicemail this week. Have a listen.
Hey guys, Adam Amin here with your solid verbal voicemail. Who wouldn't want to go watch Florida State football on the road in conference play? That's why I'm going to Raleigh, North Carolina this week, 3:30 Eastern on Saturday on ABC. NC State, Florida State. Maybe we'll sit down with a good book. Who knows? That was topical. Anyway, The Pit, authentic barbecue, one of my favorite barbecue joints in the entire country. Really extensive menu, which I'm a big fan of. The sauces are really good, but the brisket, probably my best recommendation. Wow. It's the tender brisket where you don't really need a knife. You just kind of pull on it, kind of put the fork in there. It's really soft, really tender, really juicy, really meaty. And for dessert, Aunt Hattie's double chocolate cake. Do yourself a favor. Great barbecue menu. The rolls are excellent here. Really good sides. Everything you want in a good barbecue joint, The Pit in Raleigh, North Carolina has it.
I am very hungry after that, Dan. It is dinner time here on the East Coast. I'm very hungry.
The gall of Adam to recommend brisket in the state of North Carolina. I applaud him for that. That's pork country, Ty. That's vinegar sauce country. By the way, I've heard nothing, and this is independent of us and our one-time NC State affiliation. I've heard nothing but good things about Raleigh. It is a college town that I have not been to, and I've been to many. Would like to very much go. I think Chip Patterson lives in Raleigh.
I believe so. This checks out.
And our friend Will Brinson from CBS is a local there. I got to get down to Raleigh.
Brinson's brisket would be a great.
Would love Brinson's brisket.
Great little roadside eatery.
I would do a live show at Brinson's Brisket.
Absolutely. And finally, 4 p.m. on Pac-12 Network, Utah at ASU. Utah, 7-point road favorite.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very torn on this game. I could make a case both ways. Utah, with the way they've been rolling lately, to me, feels like the obvious play here. I could see ASU being plucky at home with a high pluckiness quotient. Can't even say it.
Yeah, HPQ.
But I'm going to go Utah. Give me the Utes.
Yeah, I like Utah a good amount. I think our pal Yogi Roth is actually doing this game. Utah away from home just blew out UCLA on Friday night in LA last week, so they have a good amount of rest here, an extra day anyway. They went to Stanford and comfortably won, and certainly they didn't look great against Washington State for a chunk of that game in their loss, their most recent loss. So I think I like Utah here. I think 7 points may be too many points. This game it's not a late night game, it's a late afternoon game, but I think it's close. I think it comes down to the last possession or two. I think Utah wins this game by 4 or 5 points. Arizona State, I think, has been quietly improving. I don't love their defense, but I like some of their skill talent. Benjamin has really made a name for himself. N'Keal Harry is impossible.
Yeah.
Manny Wilkins is not where I thought he would be by this time, but I think ASU at home keeps it close.
All right. That's all I got on my list. What did I miss?
And it's, by the way, it is the start of November for Utah. Yes. So keep your eyes peeled. This is when the Utes fade. Michigan State goes to Maryland. It's going to be weird. It's just with the surrounding circumstances.
Let's go Michigan State there. How about that?
I'm going to go Michigan State there. Yeah. Colorado, Arizona, just because, and this is our pal Jeff Schwartz brought this up, there's some Oregon State stink on Colorado after they gave up a 28-point lead and lost. So I like Arizona. Georgia Tech, North Carolina is worth monitoring as Larry Fedora's seat gets warmer. And Georgia Tech's offense is legitimately probably one of the best 12 or 15 offenses in the country.
Yeah, let's go Tech. And I'm also going to go Arizona in the previous game.
Kansas State, TCU, somebody has to win that game. Duke, Miami's rolling downhill quickly. USC, Oregon State, that is worth monitoring just for the, what is happening with SC. Although I thought they should show some good fight last week. They made it close. And then Utah State, Hawaii at, I believe, 11:59 p.m. Eastern. This is kicking off. Two good quarterbacks. There's going to be Hawaiian shirts in the broadcast booth. If you're a night owl, like my friend Ty probably is, because he has
big time
3 Coke Zeros coursing through his veins.
Big time. Sugar-free Saturday coming your way.
This might be an enjoyable back and forth. One more request, Ty?
Sir.
Will you drop that big, stanky, delicious, drowning, dictating drum and fight?
You pulled it together.
There I was. Out on a ledge.
You do it every week.
Could have gone either way, Ty. I managed to find that rope and bring myself back in.
Let's hear it. Who you got?
12:30, Bucknell, 1-7, looking for their second win on the season. Traveling to Lehigh to take on the Mountain Hawk Engineers, also 1-7. Ty, is this the spot? Where's your breakfast spot again in Bethlehem?
Billy's Downtown Diner.
Billy's Downtown Diner. Are you gonna go and talk to the locals this week before the game?
There's a chance I could actually this week. Not gonna lie.
Stop by Billy's downtown and talk to Ty. I'm gonna go with the Nellies here. Lehigh is just frustrating to me. Yeah, I'm going Nellies.
By the way, I texted Dan. I should let everyone know this. I texted Dan. I was eating at a local establishment a couple days ago, and Solid Wife and I sat very surreptitiously next to the entire Bucknell golf team.
How'd they look?
They look better than the football team, Dan, which is why I'm going Mountain Hawks here at home.
Whoa.
Yeah, going Mountain Hawks here at home.
I'm just remembering I didn't lock up an actual. That was so mean. I shouldn't say actual. I didn't lock up an inferior game to a Patriot League game, but we'll get to that momentarily. Holy Cross takes their not so holy results, 2-6 on the year, going to Lafayette, who is slowly but surely climbing upwards, 3-5. Ty, do you side with the boys in Easton?
No, I never do. Are you kidding me?
Whoa!
Are you kidding me with that?
Oh, you're such a fraud.
Not up in here. Give me Holy Cross. Crusaders on the road.
Disagree. Taking the Yetis. Colgate, the Leviathan that is the Colgate Raiders and the Gators, and is Hamilton, New York's finest. Traveling to Fordham. Here, my area.
Are you going to be there?
New York. I'm singing the national anthem, Ty.
Okay.
It is a long time coming. Colgate's going to murder him. Colgate is going to, as much as I love the Rams, as much as New York loves the Rams, as much as New York thinks that Dino Babers is a made-up name,
Right.
I'm going with our sons at Colgate.
I'm going Gators here. We're forced now to follow Colgate all throughout the playoffs.
Oh, I am all in. By the way, Ty, I'm going to look for it. And maybe we're going to have a related announcement about it because I'm very lazy, so it's still forthcoming. But I just received and I don't know if you saw when I tweeted this out a couple weeks ago, Idaho State, the Bengals of Idaho State, Pocatello, Idaho's own, have the best tiger logo I've ever seen on any sports level.
I have not seen this.
I just received it in the mail. It is very soft. It looks like a Japanese baseball team's logo.
Okay. Oh, I'm looking at this. That's beautiful.
Isn't that a beautiful tiger?
It's
so
wonderful.
I just ordered a shirt and I just have the tiger's head. It doesn't even say Idaho State on the shirt. It's just the tiger's head. So I think we have to go all in, maybe get some shirts for Colgate as they enter and dispatch everyone on their deep FCS playoff run.
All right. Well, there you have it. Have we come to a consensus on Saturday?
So I feel like I offered up more.
Yeah.
So the choice is yours. You can sort through yours and mine to remind you we've got Swivel Free, we've got Stick and Move, Sow Your Oats, Sideswipe, Snake in the Toilet, Slither In.
Wow.
That's my contribution.
Wow.
Whatever you see fit, Ty, because in the end, you're editing this show and you can make it sound like anything.
We got to come to an agreement here. This is a two-man operation.
Okay.
I worry that Sow Your Oats is a little too scandalous for the people who are listening on the road with little kids in the back.
I mean, that's a very clean term.
Because no, listen. Then they ask, "What does Sow Your Oats mean?" And then somebody.
Look, it just means going wild. It just means going buck wild.
Okay, that's a strong contender.
Okay. Snake in the Toilet. Hell of a graphic.
I hate snakes. I found a snake in my yard the other day.
So do
it scared
I.
the hell out of me.
What did you do?
I ran over it by mistake with a lawnmower, and it didn't bite me, thankfully.
So the snake is dead.
The snake actually slithered away. The snake was not phased by the blade of my lawnmower.
Okay.
Swivel-less, I like, but it doesn't grab me.
And you have to explain it a little bit.
You got to explain it.
Swivel Free, yeah.
And Slither In sounds a lot like Slytherin, which I believe was a house in Harry Potter.
Okay.
I wish I knew more about this. I took one of those BuzzFeed quizzes, and it told me that I would be Slytherin.
You're such a millennial, Ty.
But still, I don't know what that means, so I can't go with it. I can't endorse it.
Okay.
I think we're going with Sow Your Oats Saturday. I think we have to.
Sow Your Oats Saturday.
By default, we got to go Sow Your Oats.
There it is. It's getting wild, Ty. This is when we have to take advantage. You know what they say? It's one of those things where, you're 20 whatever, you're in your 20s, and this is the time. Week 10 is the time to sow your oats and just look at all the G-rated sexiness.
That's right.
That is this weekend. Sow Your Oats Saturday.
You got options out there. You got Alabama, LSU. What else? You got
Kentucky, Georgia, Michigan. Oh, by the way, Michigan's my lock of the week. How about that?
Lock of the week.
You're so quick on that.
I mean, you just got options out there. If you're interested.
Is that what sowing your oats is about? Is about seeing what your options are out there in the world?
Man, this is such a weird show. I'm so happy to be part of it. Give us a call. 408-VERBAL-1 on Sow Your Oats Saturday.
Or you could go Syracuse Saturday. Once again.
Could go Syracuse Saturday. Could be a choose your own adventure Saturday. I don't know. But my guess is, like we have every week on the show, going to get some weird messages into the reverb line. Again, 408-VERBAL-1. Don't forget solidverbal@gmail.com. As always, is the way you can get in touch with us, or you can go on out to solidverbal.com, our great website by our friends over at Superboss, and fill out the contact us form if you got something to say. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on Reddit. Check out the subreddit started by Verballers for Verballers at reddit.com/r/solidverbal.
We're overdue to do like a back half of the season AMA on that.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
We've got new merch coming out. So if you want to get in on the taking as soon as that stuff comes out, join the newsletter at solidverbal.com. And finally, if you haven't already, get in on the pick'em pool at solidverbal.com/pick'em.
I want you to know, Ty, that I built myself up a pretty good case to pitch you on Sex Ed Saturday. Just involving different themes like responsibility and protection and health. But I decided, let's just go sow your oats. It's a little easier. Sex Ed Saturday it goes in a direction that I'm comfortable with, but who knows?
There you go. Sow your oats Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. For that guy over there, my good friend Dan Rubenstein, from myself, Ty Hildenbrandt. Longer than usual show, but a fun one. Maybe the most fun we've had all year talking about Week 10. We are pumped for this weekend of college football. I hope you are too. Give us a call, shoot us a line, watch the games, enjoy your weekend, come back here on Sunday. And in the meantime, stay solid.
Peace.
Hey, by the way, I'm kind of embarrassed to ask this, but how do you spell oats?
Oats? O-A-T-S.
Oats.
Like oatmeal. Oats.
Okay, I'm always inclined to spell it like Adam Oates, O-A-T-E-S, from
the hockey player,
the old Boston Bruins. Yeah, the hockey player.
Oats. That's the first thing you think of, like oats.
Imagine his surprise if we have "sow your O-A-T-E-S."
Yeah, well, that's not. I'm looking up the definition, by the way. If a young man sows his wild oats, I guess we could have said "sow your wild oats." That's too much. He has a period.
O-A-T-S.
He has a period of his life when he does a lot of exciting things and has a lot of sexual relationships.
Okay.
We're having a sexual relationship this weekend. G-rated.